Hello, bronies. It's me, and I just saw the latest episode, Buckball season. And let's just say that it's a fun episode that really has a great message about how you shouldn't let pressure of a game ruin the fun of it. But let's get to the story. So Applejack and Rainbow Dash are preparing for a Buckball game between Brayburn and his team in Appaloosa, and they need to choose 3 team members in order to face them. Their choices are Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, and surprisingly Snails, played by Ian James Corlett. But, unfortunately, Applejack and Rainbow Dash add a little too much pressure to the game, which causes Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy to screw up every now and then. Though Snails just doesn't think about it, because let's just face it, he doesn't think about anything. So the story here actually reminds me a lot of my Little League days, because you might find it odd, but I was once a Little League baseball player, and my coach would sometimes add pressure to the game, which sort of made me screw up because I was cracking under the pressure. I needed to learn to not really think about the pressure of the game and to just go with the flow and have fun. And I notice a lot of Little League parents do that every now and then, which can sometimes add to that. So overall, I think the message was very well done here. Not only that, but the actual game of Buckball is very creative, as it's sort of a mix between Quidditch from Harry Potter and pro bending from Legend of Korra. I say that because it has the goals and the basic play style of Quidditch mixed with the one pony of every race idea of pro bending, with one waterbender, one earthbender, and one firebender, only here it's one earth pony, one Pegasus, and one unicorn. I don't know, it's just something I caught on to. The voice acting was great, the animation was fun, especially in the faces. There are so many funny faces here that it sort of took me back to the gift of Maud Pie, where I'm sure several of the faces will become inevitable brony memes. So yeah, the one criticism that I do have in the episode is the fact that Rainbow Dash and Applejack do feel a bit aggressive when it comes to the actual pressure point of the episode, when they try to get Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie amped up. But I get more or less why that is. They didn't think things through, and when you're in the heat of a game, sometimes you don't really think clearly. And if you don't think clearly, you can sometimes do things you regret. I know I got a little too into certain games when I was a kid, and heck, I even got too into a wrestling event to the point where I almost got kicked out. No offense. So yeah, I get more or less why that is. I just thought they were a bit too aggressive. Thankfully, the episode's entertaining enough to help me forget that element, especially considering that I found most of the interactions thoroughly entertaining because I know for a fact Ashley Ball voices both Applejack and Rainbow Dash, and they have several conversations with each other. The same can be said with Andrea Libman, who voices both Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. And Ian James Corlett's performance as Snails also needs mentioning, as even though I hated Snails in Season 1 for just, being a total idiot, it's nice that we finally have male characters in the show like Shining Armor who aren't just total punching bags. Because of that, I'm totally okay with Ian James Corlett totally reveling in Snails' idiocy. And the fact that his idiocy didn't really hinder any of the characters. If anything, it just hindered himself, in for a couple of short little gags. It's sort of like Kevin from the new Ghostbusters movie. He's dumb as bricks, but that's sort of what makes him funny in this episode. If you're wondering if Brayburn is a big part in this episode, don't even bother, because Brayburn's role is very limited. It's only right at the end for the big Buckball game, which lasts about 2 minutes and doesn't have a lot of tension behind it. In fact, if I had one more criticism, that'd be the last thing. We spent a lot of time in the training montages, but not a lot of time with the actual Buckball game. And while those training montages are fun and they're full of humorous moments, I would have liked to see a full Buckball game take place. Even Legend of Korra had full pro-bending games take place, and even the Harry Potter movies had full Quidditch games taking place. I know, only 22 minutes, you gotta keep things moving along, but I wish they spent less time with certain elements and more time with the actual Buckball game to get us really invested. But overall, this episode was a fun ride, and it reminds me why I love sports and how you shouldn't get your head too into the game if you just want to have fun doing it. So, I give Buckball season an 8 out of 10. See you next time.